I built my happy place inside an old, crumbling building with abandoned interiors and a ground full of nothing. Only the outside boundary walls were covered in bright pink bougainvillea flowers. This building was a ruin even when it was my school. A tall, suffering statue of stairwells and windows, dark gray floors and peeling paint. And I have been my happiest, most peaceful here. No matter what room you were in, you could always hear children laughing or playing or music. And outside, there was always this mass of bright pink bougainvillea flowers. Day after day, year after year, they bloomed, and they stayed. It's a little different in London. In London, when the flowers bloom, they all bloom at the same time. The city is alive all at the same time, very organized, very synchronized. I've seen it. Then winter comes. And all the trees, the skies, the people, they all shrivel up in unison. They forget the shape of their smiles, their walks. Everything turns to the color of dust. Blue skies become difficult to catch a hold of. I've seen it, this city, get dressed and undressed. It's different back home. We're not big on seasons, for one. It's hot throughout the year. And there is grime and dirt and death every day. My city is like those famous statues of Venus, naked as we came. Nothing to shed, nothing to hide. This is it. Broken, imperfect, perfect. Everything already there on the surface, every brutality and golden era it has witnessed. Living things fight to get through the cracks in the pavements, fight to get through the ghosts of forgotten architecture. And they live like this, amongst the deteriorated, the ugly, the forgotten. It's like your right foot and your left foot, your life foot and your death foot. It's like a walk that takes both feet to get through. In London, when it gets cold, everything falls to the ground. So if you're sitting on the top deck of a bus, you can see the entire city underneath you. The only thing that remains standing are the statues. They meet you at eye level. I wonder how they're doing. Not allowed to shiver when it's cold. Not allowed to make small talk with pedestrians. I wonder what they're thinking. I wonder if they're tired of their pale gray complexions, of their pedestal, their poses, the directions of their gaze. I feel real pity for these lonely statues, with no stairwells or windows within, only blood and bones of marble, only hearts and brains of stone. We were told these stories when I was a kid about people who fell in love with statues, who kissed color into their cheeks, who poured songs onto their tongues, who actually grew light inside their man-made eyes. It's tempting, but I think the English are too polite. And Londoners, they like their space. Never look one in the eye, and don't touch one, no matter how crowded the tube is. That was the first thing I was taught. It's not like that back home. Back home, people will sit right next to you on the train, even if the compartment is completely empty, just so they can see what you're watching. In a queue, they like to touch the tip of their nose to the back of your head, so they can see the universe from where you're standing. We're people who need people. We need noise, we need heat, so we'll honk at red signals on uncrowded streets, or pick fights with strangers when we feel lonely. So I suppose then that kissing is out of the question? Maybe these statues will not blush, they will combust. Maybe they will not sing but mumble awkward apologies. Maybe their eyes will not shine but lower instead to the ground, embarrassed. Still, when I pass these statues while I'm on the bus, I always think, I should say something. Keep them company through these long winters, just me and the pigeons. telling stories in soft, inoffensive coos. I wonder what they think if I told them about home, where I'm from, but how it's never quiet and it's always warm. I tell them they should visit. They'd love it. They should come. We have these bright pink bougainvillea flowers that they'd adore, and they bloom all year round.
Hi, if you like that, then please hit subscribe, comment, share, like, Twitter, Facebook, all of that. Tell your friends. If you didn't like it, you should share, subscribe, comment, like, bell icon anyway, because support other artists, and tell your mom and dad about it because parents love me, and have a good quarantine if you're watching this in the quarantine.